Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a paint by numbers whilst I answer some of your questions, because I love doing a little Q&A, and I also love me a crafty thing where I just follow instructions and I don't have to think too much. Case in point, my Lego flowers. So I've got me a canvas. They said online that this is one that you can do in an evening, so I'm kind of hoping that I can finish it in this video so I have something to show you at the end. I got my paintbrushes, I got my paint, I got my water. Let's go. Let's just dive in. I asked for your questions over on Instagram. I've split them up into some categories. The first category is holiday, but I need to get started. So I'm going to start with my number one pot, and I can see that there is a big number one halo moon situation around Parrot's head. Ah! Gotta get into the fucking pot first. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Is there a knack to this? Okay, there we go. There we go. Easy does it. Right. Woohoo! Right, let's go thick. Someone asked, how was your holiday and how are you doing? My holiday was lovely, thank you very much. I'm just painting white on white. We went to Marseille. We did a couple of days in Marseille, just me, Dan and Rowan, which in all honesty was quite difficult. It wasn't like the most toddler-friendly city, and it was very hot and it was just us. And then Dan got ill. Then we met up with my parents. We stayed in a family friend's house in Provence, and yeah, the parents were on grandparent duty, and it was great because Dan and I actually got to like rest and hang out with each other. We kayaked down the Gorge du Verdon, which was fucking beautiful. And in general, I'm doing okay. I still am in a bit of a holiday come down. We went straight from holiday to a friend's wedding, so it was all a bit kind of relaxing but full on. And now we're just like back to normality. This is riveting stuff currently. Right, let's finish this. Voila. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find any more number ones, or is that our only number one that I can see? Right, what should we do next? Right, I can't immediately see any twos, so I'm gonna go in with some threes. I can see a big bit of three here. How did you find going somewhere warm with a toddler? Yeah, it was hot. Just a lot of sun cream, a lot of sun cream, a lot of just reminding him to drink water. I found that with my kid, if I ask him if he wants some water, he'll often say no. But if I just present his cup with the straw in front of his face, he will take a sip. So that's my strategy of getting him to drink a lot of water. The other thing is that we just like went full into like holiday time. So, you know, we were out and about and it was really hot. And so he would take a long nap, a siesta, and then would be up like mega late, which was frustrating when it was just us. But then as soon as we were with the grandparents, it was like, okay, great. Like they can deal with that. But yeah, just a lot of sun cream, a lot of shade, a lot of water, and sleep is going to be all over the place. You just got to lean into it. Okay, when on holiday as a person who works for themselves, do you find it hard to relax? I feel like I used to, but I feel pretty well practiced at it now. Like I've got all my systems in place. I used to still upload whilst I was on holiday. And so I would have to like do double the amount of work before going away. And then I would still need to be kind of like on just to like make a video live whilst I was gone. But now I just like fully take the week off, so I don't upload anything. I do prep the video for the next week back. So then when I'm getting back from holiday, I'm not like going like, oh my God, what video's going out this week? And then I just like stick my out of office on. Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good at turning off these days when I'm on holiday. Granted, like I'll still be on social media and Instagram and stuff, but that doesn't feel like work all of the time. And so, yeah, I do find myself checking my emails whilst I'm gone, but not responding to them. And I just check my email and then like delete and snooze things as appropriate. So then I know like, okay, when I get back, everything will be ready for me to go. I wish I could stop checking my email whilst I'm away, but the idea of then coming back to like a really messy inbox, like I can't, like that actually stresses me out more. So I prefer just to like occasionally check it whilst I'm away and just like move things into their relevant places. Oh, I found a number two. Are there any more threes that are not immediately obvious to me? Okay, somebody asked next dream holiday destination. Now, I do not know about next by any means, but New Zealand has always been on my list. I would absolutely love to go and go to Hobbiton. Yeah, that's a big one, but it is very far away, takes a long time to get there, and is very expensive to get there. And I kind of feel like, because I've never been to like that part of the world before, you kind of have to do it for a long trip. And I'm like, when would we be able to do that? So maybe at some point soon, maybe not. Ooh, yay. Lovely, lovely. Right, I can see lots of 4s. Tips on holidays with a toddler. I don't know how much wisdom I've got, to be honest. The main piece of advice that I'd give to myself is just like, don't bother unless you've got extra hands, i.e. grandparents or friends or whoever. Like, I've not done it yet, but I would be open to going on holiday with friends who also have kids, because even if, you know, the ratio of adult to child hasn't changed, at least you're all in it together. That's my theory, but I don't actually know. But so far, the only like actual holidays that we have done, grandparents have come along, or we have crashed my parents' holidays. It's basically what's happened. My parents are like, this is what we're doing this summer, and we're like, great, can we come for a part of that? And they're like, please do. So yeah, my main advice is like, don't do it unless you've got extra help with childcare, because just otherwise it's not a holiday. It is not a holiday. It's just more stressful. You're just doing all your usual parenting things, but your routine is completely out of whack, and you've not got any of your like comforts, and like just, yeah, you're in a new different space that can make things just like more stressful. Yeah. Download loads of TV stuff for them to watch on the plane. Rowan is obsessed with colour blocks at the moment. Colour blocks, red and yellow and blue. Colour blocks, green and purple and orange too. In a magic world of colour, look what we can do. Colour blocks, we're mixing it up for you. And line time was a big one whilst we were away. Obviously, every kid is different, but I don't feel like you need to pack too many toys, because just the act of being in a new place is like entertaining enough. So you need to bring things for like entertaining them whilst traveling, keeping them happy on the plane or whatever. But once you're there, you don't really need that much. Let's get the thinner one going, get into these crevices. I made a mistake. I should have started from the top and worked down. Instead, I'm like working through them in order, which has led me to this situation now where if I lean my hand here, it's going to get paint on it. I mean, we could always paint it upside down. There's no rules against that. Beautiful. Look at that sea. Oh, there's another 4 there. Colour blocks. Right. Ooh, there's a 4 in the parrot. This brush is a bit flimsy. I'm getting water on my canvas. Right, let's do 5. What do you do with your pet when you're on holidays? So we just get someone to come over and feed her and top up her water. We have a leopard gecko called Mustard, and this time around we just got our neighbours to do it. Very kind of them. Oh no, we're not staying in between the lines. But she doesn't need feeding that often. So if we're away a week, then someone just needs to come over twice in that time period. If we're away a weekend, no one needs to bother. Like, we can go away a whole weekend and just make sure her water's full and she's got enough food, and then she'll be fine for when we get back. Leopard geckos are very low maintenance pets, and I appreciate that. I could not be a dog person or even a cat person. Dan could be a cat person. He wants to get a cat, but I've said no, not until we live in a house, because I do not want to have just an indoor cat. Right, are there any more little 5s? Little 5s. Why did I close that lid? There's definitely a big 5 somewhere. There it is. Ooh, look at the beautiful blue sea. Next, we've got a whole bunch of questions about family stuff. Someone asked, does Rowan have a noticeable London accent at all? This is quite contentious because I'm from Manchester. Dan is from outside of London. So he's got a southern accent, I've got a northern accent. We haven't heard it yet in like his pronunciations of A's. Like, he's still a toddler, so he says bath time, but maybe that'll change to Bath at some point. I don't know. But the main way that I hear his London accent is when he goes, I like it. That sounds like a Brummie accent. What was that, Hannah? That was a Brummie. He goes, I like it. I like it. Like that. But he actually doesn't do that as much these days. I don't know. I feel like he's a bit too young for us to properly hear it just yet. But I mean, unless we move out of London, he's gonna have a London accent, let's be real. Oops, I did not dry the brush. That is very wet. But Rowan's childminder is Italian, and apparently he's been picking up some words, which is very cool. I can't speak a word of Italian other than grazie, buongiorno, ciao. That's it. That's it. I swear I did see another 6 somewhere. 666. The concentration. Oh, I see a 4. A 4. I missed a little 4. I might need to bust out the tinier brush. Oh, there's another 6. Oh, 6 is in the leaves. Right. How do you keep your relationship peaceful? Oh boy, this is an important question. I don't know how much wisdom I have on this one that isn't just Dan and I are quite chill people. Dan especially is one of like just the most calm people that I know. But in terms of our like relationship dynamic, one big thing that I've learned, and this is not just in my romantic relationship, but in friendships as well, is that if there is a conflict, if there is a disagreement, it's like how much do you care about winning versus preserving the relationship? And that's something I've had to ask myself a couple of times. And I've always put preserving the relationship before feeling like I've won. And I have no regrets in that department. So it's worked out so far. Sometimes you just have to let things go. Granted, there might be things that you can't, so that's up to you to figure it out. But it's always about remembering like the bigger picture. And the bigger picture for me is that Dan is happy, that I'm happy, that our relationship is healthy, that Rowan is happy and feels safe, and all of that. Have you broached the topic of gender diversity with Rowan? I'm so curious with regards to parenting. So he is only 2 and a bit, and they say that it's around 3 when they start to get like a concept of gender or their own gender or other people's gender. But even though he is younger than we would be having like explicit conversations about gender, we are still kind of having them in a way. He's starting to notice like what's in between people's legs and getting curious about what's in between people's legs. And we've been avoiding saying things like boys have willies and girls have vulvas. We just say it more specifically, like daddy has this, mummy has this, Rowan has this. We're not like doing the big like categorization because that's not like relevant at the moment and also inaccurate. So it's just giving him like the correct information like as and when he needs it. And then he has started to kind of like say stuff a bit about like boys and girls. So like it is really hard to not do gendered language. We do often say like, oh, good boy, and all of that to him. And then we also say things like, oh, like this is something you'll be able to do when you're bigger. And he recently started to be like, oh, when I'm big girl. And so we're like, yeah, when you're a big girl, like we just kind of affirm whatever language he's using. But he's also at the age where if he's saying something like that, he might not know. Or it might mean something in the future, who knows? And we have been asking him things like, oh, are you a boy or a girl or something else or any like, or none, like, you know, and just kind of like asking him. And he honestly at this age is not responding to those questions. If you ask him if he's a boy or a girl at this age, he says, I, Rowan. And I'm like, yes, fair enough. The other thing that we try to do is in stories and in books and with characters and things, it is so easy just to default to like he, him pronouns, like, oh, the monkey's eating the banana, he's so cheeky. It's so easy to default that way. So we're just really explicitly trying to use like they, them pronouns for any just like animal, character, or anything that like their pronouns aren't explicitly mentioned. I'm trying to think of other things we're doing. It's just all so gradual, I think, and you just do it in little bits, and we're probably not getting it all right, but we're aware of it and thinking about it, which I think is like more than a lot, to be honest. With the state of things, yeah, he knows that daddy is a man. He like goes, daddy, you a man. And then he asks, Dan will be like, what's mummy? And he'll be like, mummy little. So, you know, the conversations are starting to be had, but then by no means, you know, sophisticated. But it's all part of the like building blocks and stuff of like then being able to understand these things and being able to just like have one long continuous conversation with them, rather than like they get to a certain age and suddenly you're like, oh shit, we should talk to them about gender diversity, because actually what you've been doing is talking about it the entire time, just in an age appropriate way. One kind of tactic that you can use is like books that have explicitly like gender diverse or gender ambiguous characters and stuff in it. We've got a book, I think it's one that I got on the like feminist bookshop crawl that I did of London, but he's still a bit too young for it. We've tried to bust it out and he's not been interested, which is fair enough. I think a lot of it would go over his head anyway, so it's probably one for when he's a bit older. How is TTC trying to conceive different this time? It feels harder this time. I have PCOS. My cycle is all over the place. It is more unpredictable than it ever was pre-Rowan. I honestly don't know what it's doing at the moment. Currently, as I'm recording this, my period is like a good 10 days late, but I'm testing negative. So I'm not pregnant. And I'm like, can this period please come so we can start trying again? Because this cycle is already over 2 months long. So it's not like we get many chances to try, because my cycles are so irregular and long, which sucks. But the other thing that's really different is that I'm finding pregnancy announcements a lot harder, especially second pregnancy announcements. And so I think like pre-first child, like you don't know what timeline you're on. You're just like, we'll just get pregnant whenever we get pregnant. But then as soon as you have your kid and you meet other people who've got kids the same age, and then suddenly they're all now pregnant with their seconds and you wish you were pregnant with your second, that's hard. That is really, really hard, because obviously you're happy for them because they've got something that you want, but also it just makes you incredibly sad, I think. Second pregnancy announcements feel a lot harder. I feel a lot more impatient than I was the first time round, at least from my memory. Yeah, it's tricky. Last time it never felt like a race. Obviously it's not a race, but like it never felt like one because I didn't have people that I was racing against necessarily. Whereas now I know a lot of people that in my heart I am apparently racing against, and I'm losing this race. Obviously that's a really shitty metaphor and way to think about it, but it doesn't stop it hurting every time, you know, I'm not pregnant and someone else is. It's a colorful world, it's a world of colour. So yeah, it is hard. The other thing is that one of the things that kept me going the first time round was like still being able to do stuff. Being like, oh, I wouldn't be able to do this if I was pregnant or had a baby. And there's a little bit of that, like going on holiday or, you know, going to the Eras tour or my friend's wedding or hen party, like all of those kinds of things that I'm like, oh, this either wouldn't be able to happen or would be extremely difficult if I was pregnant. But because I already have a toddler, it's like the things that I can do are still limited, like more limited than they were before. So yeah, it's tough. And I think I'm going crazy. Every cycle, every 2 months in between ovulating and when my period is due, I go insane. Like I'm just hyper aware of every twinge in my body, every feeling, every sensation, every mood. I overanalyze and overthink everything. I convince myself that I'm pregnant and I act like a crazy person. And you honestly think that you wouldn't. You're like, oh, I'll be chill about it this time around. No, you go absolute batshit. And then the negative test comes and you're like, what the hell was I going insane for? So that's fun. Nice. Okay. Oh, time to bust out some yellow. Hell yeah. Right. How might a second child impact your life, home, work? I mean, one thing that I'm predicting, planning for, or like emotionally preparing myself for is that I will be as sick and ill and incapable of doing anything in my first trimester as I was with Rowan. And then also I would like to take a similar amount of time off than that I did with Rowan for mat leave, so like around 3 months, just because with working for yourself it's a bit harder to take like a whole year. But I feel like the work changes like won't be as drastic as last time, but I'm still like financially preparing for it. So I'm like saving money in my business to be able to afford to take mat leave. The work that I am taking on, so like with the new work that I'm doing that's like the creator consulting and coaching stuff, that very much is the kind of work that I can dial up and dial down just depending on my health, depending on where I'm at. So I can like take on more people if I have capacity, or I can just like stop taking on new clients if I'm really sick. So I think because the focus is already on flexibility going into it, I'm hoping that the change in my work stuff won't be as drastic as the change was after having Rowan. Like, I've already done my big career change. I don't need more at the moment. It's just about like maintaining and just being flexible so we can do more or do less depending on the circumstances. Look at that. Woo! And one of the ways that I'm actively financially preparing for hopefully at some point being pregnant and having another baby is taking on more sponsorships on this channel. And so I would like to thank this video's sponsor, Squarespace. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Squarespace whilst you watch me continue to fill out this paint by numbers. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for creators, entrepreneurs, and freelancers to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out in the freelance world or you're a small business owner, Squarespace makes it super easy to create beautiful websites, engage your audience, and sell anything from physical and digital products to courses and your time all in one place, all on your terms. Squarespace Blueprint makes it super easy to design your own website with zero website design experience. It is an interactive website design experience. It holds your hand through the entire process and takes you through all of the steps and everything that you need to build your website from scratch. Squarespace Blueprint also has optimized SEO tools to help you show up more in people's searches and get discovered. And Squarespace makes it super easy for you to get paid. If you have an online store, they have flexible payment options, creating a seamless experience for your customer. They accept credit cards, Apple Pay, and PayPal, and in eligible countries you can do a buy now, pay later plan. And if you're someone who sells your own services, then Squarespace has client invoicing. You can manage your clients and your invoices all in a streamlined and customizable workflow on Squarespace. So if you've got your own business, freelance work, project, or portfolio that you want to share online, then head to squarespace.com to start your free trial. And then when you are ready to launch it in the world, you can go to squarespace.com/morehannah to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Now back to your questions. Okay, progress has been made. Oh my goodness. Oh, I see a number 8 that I forgot. I didn't see before. Let's go get it. Right, where were we? We were talking about how I expect my life to change after having another baby, hopefully, please. We talked about work. In terms of life and home stuff, I just imagine it will be extremely exhausting and chaotic again for a while. Like the sleep deprivation, we survived it once, we can do it again, and I know that it'll be worse because we'll have a toddler, but you know, it's all temporary. That's the thing you've got to remember. Like, it is all a phase, and I don't really know how else it will change. It will all depend on the potential child. Who knows? I think it will just be chaotic in the most wonderful way and tiring way. What else have we got? Is there anything you miss about breastfeeding? Sometimes I miss it in terms of being able to quickly soothe Rowan if he's upset, but actually, like, he's now able to be soothed in many different ways. And I think I was worried about like losing a key part of my like parenting toolkit when I stopped breastfeeding, but actually, you know what? I got loads of skills. I got loads of things I can bust out to make that kid feel better if he's upset or struggling to settle or whatever it might be. So no, I don't know if there's much that I miss about it. I still like sleep next to him in bed a lot, and so we get like cuddles, and if anything, I get better cuddles now than I did when I was breastfeeding. So love that for me. Love that for me. One thing that hasn't properly happened yet since I stopped breastfeeding is like he's not gotten really ill where he's not eating or anything for like a few days, and that never massively worried me before because I was like, oh, if he's still breastfeeding, then he's still getting something in him, whereas I won't have that like reassurance for the next time he gets ill, which I mean will be fine. You know, it's not like it's the end of the world. I think it will just like add an extra layer of stress for me, but having a sick kid is always stressful. Oh, my muscles are starting to hurt. Plans/tips for potty training. I got no tips because we haven't done it yet, but we are starting to think about it. He's now using pull-ups at the childminders and she's like on it. She's like, yeah, he's ready, let's go. So if anything, we can kind of just take her lead. It sounds so ridiculous, just like help outsource the potty training. But I would like to kind of really get most of the potty training done before the end of the summer. We're kind of just, I don't know what we're waiting for. What we need to do is just like put a date in the diary and just go, then. He wakes up in the morning, we take his nappy off, done. That's it. But I do think he's ready for it. But he does just really like wearing nappies. So maybe that means he's not ready for it. I don't know. But we've got this book called No More Nappies, which he really loves. He really likes that book. And so he understands the whole potty thing. He's sat on the potty, you know. But oftentimes if we do like nappy free time, the moment we stick a nappy on him, he then does a poo. And you're like, you were just waiting. You were just waiting for this nappy to go on so you could poo. I see. No, we need a little brush for that bit, right? No, let's just finish this and then we'll go to the next. Right, and next category is work and career. How's consulting going? Do you know what? It's going great. I'm really loving it. I'm getting to have like really interesting conversations with creators. The feedback that I've gotten from people is really positive and that I'm actually helping, which, you know, is a good sign. I went into this year thinking that I was going to be doing like project management-y style stuff for creators, but what it's turned into is more like consulting and coaching, and I've actually signed up for like an intensive coaching training course in September, and so that will be really helpful for me just to add like tools to my toolkit in terms of coaching, because I don't officially like advertise my services as coaching, but what I've found is that with the people that I've been working with, I find myself coaching them, but I've got a very limited set of tools and techniques to use in that realm. So I'm excited to kind of like learn more about the coaching field and also the practice of it. And then it's just a week-long course, so it's not like super high commitment. And then from then, if I like it, then I can kind of go from there in terms of figuring out if I want, you know, to further my education and get some like certifications and stuff. But the coaching world is very unregulated, so I'm pretty sure that after just like doing this like 1 week intensive coaching training course, I will be able to call myself a coach, which feels dubious, but if I can do it. 13, any more 13s? There's one little 13 that we're gonna do. So I don't really know what's going on in this parrot's eye. Oh, it's an 8. Right, that's a 17, that's an 8, okay. Okay, right, I just need a little one for in there. Bam, right, what colour was that one? Beep. Right, 14. Your thoughts on what you thought your new role would be versus what it has become. So kind of what I was saying about thinking that it would be more project management, like helping creators organize their like production workflows and things. And I have done that for one client, but it really is just a lot more coaching and kind of like accountability stuff, just like having regular check-ins with clients to be like, right, what goals did we set last time? And like, what's going on and what do we want to do next, and working through some like obstacles with them. And like a lot of it is mindset stuff, which is why I do want to get like the coaching training. And then also the thing that I didn't predict at the beginning of the year was how much Patreon consulting I would be doing. Like that seems to be like one of the main things that people at the beginning of the year came to me for, and I've kind of created this like Patreon launch strategy, like schedule, like the whole thing that clients have done with me over like a 3-month period. And I've done that like a few times with different clients now, and it's great fun. And just, I've also done a lot of random like ad hoc Patreon consulting as well. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. But it's like coaching and Patreon strategy as like a specific thing as well. A few people have reached out about like YouTube consulting, and I've been doing a little bit of that, but some of the YouTube stuff is like a bit out of my wheelhouse, because I'm like, YouTube strategy, like I probably know a lot more than the average person, but it's not like where my passions lie in terms of helping creators. And then I've got one pro bono client who is somebody in the sex and relationships field, because I want to, you know, give back to my origins and the community whence I came. And that was always important to me as well, as like I knew that I wanted like paying clients, and then I knew that I wanted like at least one pro bono client, somebody doing sex and relationship stuff, but also potentially someone who is from a marginalised background and might not be able to afford my services. So that's good that I've been able to like get that in as well before the end of the year. I'm very rarely making eye contact with you because I'm concentrating so hard on this, but it is coming along nicely. Right, how are you feeling about short form content at the moment? This is a funny question to ask me right now because I have just recently had my most viral video ever, my most viewed video in the history of me making videos online, which has been 13 years. I've had a reel / TikTok, but mostly the reel. I've had a video of me giggling whilst washing my hands with some very phallic soap in the bathroom of a French restaurant go very viral, which is not part of the short form content strategy. But you know, the interesting part of this is that it went mega viral on Instagram. I'm talking like 45 million views, 1 million likes. It's actually insane. It's gone kind of viral on TikTok as well. Last time I checked, it's got over 1 million views on TikTok. But YouTube Shorts, the place where I could actually possibly make money from this viral piece of content, 8,500 views. I don't understand. Like, the internet is just works in weird, mysterious ways. How does the exact same piece of content get 45 million views on Instagram and 8,000 views on YouTube? Riddle me that. So, I don't know. I've not really been in the short form content like headspace since getting back from holiday, but I want to get back into it. But I do think I'm going to be just like taking it a lot less seriously than like having a whole strategy. But it does work well and I like enjoy making them. So I'm still like scheduling time each week to make them, but just like not as much as I was before. How do you feel about your fashion content? Does it feel you? Yes, my fashion content does always feel me because I don't make it that often. And so when I do, it has to feel very me. Like, you're not going to see me doing like fast fashion hauls every week. That would not be very me. But doing like fun experiments with clothes, doing kind of like secondhand stuff, thrifting stuff, all of that feels very me. Different kind of ways of styling stuff. But it just means that I don't do those kinds of videos very often, just because I don't often like have loads of new clothes to work with. But I guess part of the challenge there, and maybe there's some content there as well, is like, okay, what if you do have, you know, you're not constantly adding new clothes to your wardrobe? You know, what fun can be had there? That being said, I did panic buy some Birkenstocks the other day because I had blisters on my heels and I didn't have any shoes that wouldn't rub on my heel. Oh dear. I think that's 14 done. We're on to 15. 15 out of 18 colours. I think that means we're actually getting somewhere. I mean, yeah, it does look almost done, doesn't it? It looks so much better on camera than it does in person because I've not layered it on thick enough so I can see some of the numbers poking through. It's fine. Okay, any tips for reducing phone time, specifically social media? I don't know if I'm the right person to ask this question because I use social media for work and I feel like my tips are going to be very generic, which is delete the apps from your phone. Have like social media free time. Like, is it like between certain hours of the day or certain days of the week where you're just like, I'm just not going to go on social media? Don't have your phone in your bedroom. Like, all of these like generic piece of advice that you've probably heard before, but it's because they work even if they're like hard to do. And like, I don't do any of them. What about having something else that you could do that is equally as enticing? Like, is there a TV show that you want to watch? Is there some crafts that you want to do? Seeing your pals, reading a book? Like, are there activities that take you away from your phone that you can incorporate more into your life? Maybe. But I actually am planning a video soon where I'm not going to use social media for a week. And I've done things like that before, but that's when I've generally like not been that interested in social media, so it's not been that hard. Whereas now, like, I'm actually having a really fun time on Instagram and I'm actually really enjoying being on social media. So it would be interesting to kind of like do a week off social media during this time when I'm like, oh, the idea of actually being off it for a week. I'm like, oh no, but I want to be on it. My strategy there is just going to be delete. Have a buddy to hold you accountable. Like, is there somebody else, maybe someone who you live with or a close friend who can, you know, hold you accountable and check in and see how you're doing? You know, if anyone sees that you're online on social media, they can be like, get off, what are you doing? Get off, you're fine. Or is there somebody that you can buddy up with to do it with to make it easier? Anyway, there's some tips. I hope they help. Do you see yourself in the future looking for a career where you're not self-employed anymore? This I've thought about every now and then. You know, it comes up. I'm like, oh, could I have like a 9 to 5? Could I have a boss? And I think I couldn't. And I think I just have to be honest with myself. Yes, there are some things about the 9 to 5 that feel appealing to me, but there are many things about being freelance that are really appealing to me and that I really value. And when I think about not being able to do them, like, you know, being in control of my own schedule and when I work, that is really important to me. And I really love the balance that I have now. Like, I work 4 days a week and I work like 9:30 till 4:30 every day, which, you know, isn't a full-time job. So if I were to ever not be self-employed, I would have to find myself like a part-time job. Actually, do you know what? I could see myself finding a part-time job and then doing my own thing. I don't think I could ever have a full-time job. I've just kind of hit the jackpot a bit, and I recognize that with doing this. Like, look what I'm doing. This is great. I'm having so much fun. Living my best life, doing paint by numbers for work. What a joy. Oh, wow. This is very bright blue. Number 16, let's go. I don't know what plants have blue leaves, but I guess it's the evening. This is sunset, so this is the vibe. The leaves are they just look blue in the low light. The next category of questions is home. Has there been any progress on the bedroom renovation? There has been the tiniest amount of progress, which is that we have bought a bed frame. And do you know what we haven't done? Bought a mattress. And the bed is a different size. But one of the perks of my job is occasionally getting stuff gifted. So I'm currently trying to get myself a free mattress because that would be really helpful because mattresses are expensive. And so we'll see. I don't know if I'll actually be able to. But in the meantime, we can just have our king size mattress on a super king bed frame, because then we'll also need to get new bed sheets, which I hadn't thought about when I was like, right, let's buy this bed. I was like, oh shit, now we need to do all these other things. But it's fine. It's not a big deal. So yeah, we've got a bed coming soon. And then the next thing after the bed arriving is knocking out our existing wardrobe. So that's a commitment. And the reason why we wanted to get the bed first is because we're getting like one of those big storage beds. So everything currently in our wardrobe will be able to go under the bed, because we will be living without a wardrobe for a while. Oh God, I hadn't thought about that. Oh, why is it hard? It's not that hard. It'll just be inconvenient for a while. But we have picked paint colors, we have picked a wallpaper that we like, and we've picked the general layout of the bedroom, which is very exciting, and what is going to go where. So things are happening, albeit very slowly. Do you have plants? What are you growing / nurturing? What would you like to grow? We don't have any plants. We are not plant people. Everything would just die. We tried to have some on our balcony when we first moved here. They died. I feel like in my future, maybe I would love to be a plant person, but it's just, yeah, it's just not gonna happen. Just have to accept that my resources and my time are limited, and taking care of plants is not a priority for me. But I have my Lego flowers, and so what more could I want? Oh my goodness. All right, it's too small. We need a smaller brush. We're gonna need a smaller brush. And I've definitely like made an oopsie, and I need to figure out what color that one was. Which number blue were you? What does that looks like? Maybe the 5? Have you given up on the house hunt? So yeah, we technically gave up on the house hunt like over a year ago when we took our flat off the market, and we started like doing up Rowan's room and this room, because that was us being like, right, we are definitely staying here for a bit longer. Obviously, I still peruse Zoopla and Rightmove because I love looking at property listings and floor plans, but we're not currently house hunting. And it feels really weird to be in this position where I actually don't know where I'm going to be living in like 3 years time. I feel like I always used to have somewhat of a plan or like a picture in my head of like, oh yeah, this is where we'll be. But now, like, honestly, I could not say. Where are we going to be living in a few years time? I do not know. Like, there's options and there's places that we talk about, but nothing is set in stone. And it's very much like, we'll see when we get to that point. Cross that bridge when we get to it. Currently, we're just focusing on making this home feel like our home. Right, and this next category is fun, because that was all I could think of to call it for this next bunch of questions. Best 2-player board games. I don't know about best, but I did just make a piece of short form content going through our board game collection, and there's a lot of 2-player ones in there that I would recommend. A really great, quick, but also like thinky 2-player game that Dan and I played a lot of on holiday is this game called Boop. That's been our fave recently. But if you're looking for something a bit like big and bulky, oh, I've got other recommendations. Just go watch that video. Favorite books so far this year? Ooh, good question. Let me see what my 5 stars are, because I've been reading a lot more this year, but not many of them have been like ones that I have loved. So let's see. Right, my 5-star reads so far this year: Funny Story by Emily Henry, The Transgender Issue by Sean Fay, Matrescence by Lucy Jones, All Systems Red and Artificial Condition, the 2 books in the Murderbot series by Martha Wells, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, The Adventures of Amina El-Sarafi, loved that book, by S.A. Chakraborty, Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmoose, I Love You, I Love You, I Love You by Laura Dockrell. And yes, going through that list now, I'm like, yes, 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 loved all of those books. There's some romance in there for you, there's some fantasy, there's some sci-fi, there's some contemporary, like there's some literary, there's a bit of everything in there. Go forth and peruse and enjoy. Let me know if you've read any of those and what you thought of them. One thing that I've been doing over on my Patreon this year is a monthly like roundup and mini reviews of books that I've been reading, TV shows that I've been watching, films that I've seen, called My Opinion Doesn't Matter. And it's an experiment in me just like sharing what I thought about things without worrying about having the right opinion, which is something that holds me back a lot in terms of talking about media and culture. But then also I often get asked like, oh, what did you think of this thing? What did you think of this thing? And so it's just all in one place on my Patreon if you want to see what I'd be reviewing over there. Right. So we do have some green leaves. What are you watching at the moment? Great question. Smooth. Dan and I are currently watching season 2 of Our Flag Means Death. I think it's been out for a while, but we've only just gotten round to it because we've been busy watching all of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So yeah, Our Flag Means Death is what we are currently watching. We fucking love it. It's so funny and so heartwarming. The writing is just spectacular. The characters are just brilliant. And then I think after that, we are gonna watch the final season of Sweet Tooth. I really like Sweet Tooth. Love me a post-apocalyptic pandemic fantasy series. So yeah, I think we're gonna move on to that. Oh, I think we need a smaller brush. We're gonna need a smaller brush. Yours and Dan's opinion on Baldur's Gate. Okay, so we love Baldur's Gate and we did start playing it together, but then we just did not have the time to continue it, and we hadn't played it in months and months and months. And if we were gonna pick it up again, we were like, oh, we should probably start from the beginning. But in the end, I decided that actually I have other things that I would rather be doing in the evenings. Like there are TV shows that I would rather be watching with Dan, or board games that I would rather be playing with him. And so he has gone forth and been playing through Baldur's Gate by himself. And maybe at some point when we've got more time on our hands in like 10 years time, we'll play through it together. But for now, he's playing it through and he's keeping me updated on his progress and his story and what's going on. But I was thinking for an episode of the Handan podcast that we do on Patreon, I could interview Dan about his Baldur's Gate campaign and ask him how it's going. Ask him to give us a little review of it. I don't know whether to do it like whilst he's still in the campaign or at the end. We'll see, but that could be fun. Oh my God. We've got one colour left and we've got lots of questions. Love this for us. Love it. How have you been doing finding a community and friends with your schedule? So I feel like my efforts in trying to find more local community, like it's happening slowly but surely. Like I went to like an activity on a Friday that I have off with Rowan, and you know, there were like 4 or 5 people there that I knew. like one that I planned on going there with, and then others that I bumped into. And so I'm like, oh, wow, it's happening. Like, I know people. And so, yeah, I'm feeling good about that realm. I have been having a whole panic. Oh, no, I went outside the line. I have been having a bit of a panic about actually like my current friends who aren't local and like mum friends, in terms of like actually like making more of an effort in terms of seeing them and putting things in the diary. It's just all so hard, isn't it? Maintaining friendships in your 30s when you don't really live that close to people, and you know, you're all in different like life stages and have got various different like work and family commitments. It's a lot, you know? I've always been a bit of a low maintenance friend, which has served me well over the years, but then also I'm like, oh wait, if I'm a low maintenance friend, like it's not that hard. Like people don't have to put in a huge amount of effort with me to maintain a friendship, but maybe I have not been putting in as much effort as I could with friends who maybe need a bit more than I need. I don't know. I'm having a bit of a crisis in that realm now. Just from one friend crisis to another, but it's fine. Is it fine? It will be fine. Identify the problem and then figure out how you're going to approach it. So yeah. Have you found losing friends in your later 20s? And if so, how do you feel about it? Well, my later 20s were plagued by a literal pandemic. I was 28 to 30 during those big 2 years of lockdown. So the pandemic kind of did the losing a lot of friends for me. But on the one hand, it is nice to kind of like have the priorities of like, okay, these are my friends. This is good. I'm a bit sad that it's kind of like cut off a lot of the kind of like tertiary friends, like the acquaintances and things. But actually in preparing me for having a kid and not having a huge amount of like socializing time, it is good to kind of like whittle it down to be like, okay, these friends are my priorities, right? This is who I have time for. And again, just like everything is a phase, everything is temporary, and there will be times hopefully in my later life that I do have more time for those friends. And so I guess my priority at the moment is like staying friends enough so that it's easy to maintain that friendship and keep that friendship for then when I have more time for them. And yeah, I don't know. Do I know what I'm talking about? No. Do I have any idea what I'm doing? No. How are you feeling post UK election? I'm feeling okay. I mean, obviously I'm feeling a lot better than I would had the Tories got in, but I feel like for the first time since I've been able to vote in general elections, I feel hopeful. Like, I don't agree with a lot of what Labour and Keir Starmer say and do, but my God, I actually feel like, I don't know, a bit calmer, like less on edge constantly. So we shall see. We shall see. But it feels good to kind of like have a government that even if I don't agree with everything they say, like, I don't know, I feel like they'd be more likely to listen. Like, I don't know. Also, I've got a Labour MP. So previously, like, you know, I could email my MP about things, but they would have very little sway in terms of government. How are you all feeling post UK election, if you are from or in the UK? And how are you Americans getting on? By the time you're seeing this, I don't know if the Democrats will have, you know, a nominee, but what a ride you guys are being taken through. Ooh, I hope to God that Trump does not get in the US. This November. You can do it, guys. Come on, you can do it. Whoever the Democrat is, just like get out and vote. The French did it, the British did it. Like, come on, you guys next. Vote in a Democrat, please, please, please. On a completely different note, are you using menstrual cups again? There was a time post-birth where my pelvic floor and my vagina just like weren't working. And even after I was able to have like penetrative sex again, I just could not get a menstrual cup to like fit and open up inside me. But then one day it did, and I'm so glad because I love my menstrual cup. I did like buy a new menstrual cup, but I couldn't get that one working, and in the end the one that I currently have like still works and is grand, even though, I don't know, I feel like I've had it like over the amount of time that you're supposed to keep them for. And also it's one of those ones that's like for a vagina that is under 30 years old or hasn't given vaginal birth. And I'm like, I'm 32 and I haven't given vaginal birth, so, and it's fine. It works. Why have you never been outside of Europe/the US? And I will throw the question back at you, which is, how do you know that I've never been outside of Europe or the US? Because I have. Granted, not that much in recent years because toddler and a pandemic and travel is long, but I've been to Brazil, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, South Korea, Morocco. That might be it. That might be it. So those are some places outside of Europe and the US that I've been to. I mean, Canada, outside of the US. I might need to bust out a smaller brush at some point. Olympic sports you are looking forward to and introducing Rowan to. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about this. I got Rowan watching a lot of Wimbledon because I was watching a lot of Wimbledon. But I mean, the athletics, the running, love it. Love diving. Gymnastics, always super cool to watch. Those are kind of some of my faves that I can think of off the top of my head. To be honest, it won't be one of those things where I'm like, oh, I want to catch this specific sport and I will like figure out when it's on and then put it on. I will just probably, when we're home, I'll just stick it on in the background and we'll just watch whatever is on. And that'll be fun. Come on. Right, yeah, I think we need a smaller brush. What was your favorite part of your Eras tour experience? So I think it does have to be the surprise songs. This is going to sound really bad because obviously like loads of people who wanted tickets to it didn't get them. But I wish I'd gone in blind. I mean, I enjoyed it, obviously. I had a really great time. But there is part of me that's like, oh, actually, I kind of knew too much. And then also I used my loop earplugs to help like protect my ears for the show. And it really kind of took me out of it. Like I felt like I was disassociating and I occasionally like took them out to like really feel like what was happening or in quieter moments, like the surprise songs and like the kind of like folklore Evermore set. But I am very lucky in that I have got more tickets because I thought I might be pregnant or be having a baby. I did my best and succeeded in getting tickets for London in June and in August. And so because I'm assuming, because I keep testing negative, I'm not pregnant, I should not be ill and I should be all good to go in August as well. So it was like, worst case scenario, I have to miss one and I get to go to one, and best case scenario, I get to go to both, but I'm still not pregnant. So this is my treat to myself because I'm not pregnant, going to the Eras tour twice. And I think this time what I'm gonna do is maybe just have a loop earplug in one ear and like swap it from ear to ear so I can still feel the atmosphere, you know? Because I was like, why do I not feel like I'm here? It was a very weird sensation. I can't quite explain it. But yeah, it was very odd. But I did have a really, really great time. And the surprise songs, I was there the night that she did the mashup of Mean and Thank You Amy and got Hayley Williams out to sing Castles Crumbling, which isn't even my favorite song. Like it's one of my least favorite vault tracks, but the two of them just like singing on stage together was just, it was honestly just like such a beautiful moment to witness. It was so lovely. I honestly thought it felt like we were maybe like prying. We were like, oh, we shouldn't be here. This is like two best friends just like having a jam together and like we shouldn't be watching. This is private. Like that's kind of what it felt like. It was really beautiful. Right, we're almost done here. Fave Taylor Swift album and song. Why are you making me do this? Oh, I think, oh my God. So Red was the first album that was me actually getting into Taylor Swift unironically. Then I was fully present for the 1989 era and went to the tour of that. Reputation was not my era when it first happened, but it has grown on me. Oh my God, this is hard. But I kind of do think it might be Folklore, my favorite. And then song, is it cheating if I just say All Too Well, the 10-minute version? Is that cheating? Can I do fave song per album? Not including debut, because I just like barely know any of the songs on debut. I know, fake fan. Oh no, I don't even know if I could do fave song per album. But my fave Folklore song, seeing as I've stated that as my favorite album. I mean, is it August? It's probably August. I do love 7 though. So that probably makes me a very basic Taylor Swift fan, but I fucking love it. Oh my God, I think this is the last bit. Is this the last bit? Da 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 da! I finished it! Aha! Da, 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 dee, 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 dee. It's beautiful! Ta-da! I did a painting. Okay, well, this took me like an hour and a half longer than I expected it to. But I'm very pleased that we have a finished painting at the end of this video. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Did you get up to any crafts whilst watching / listening to this video? Let me know if you made anything in the comments whilst you had this playing. I hope that you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next video. Yeah.